Hello friends, today we are going to read the BFG by Roald Dahl. If you like our story, give it a like and subscribe to our channel. The Marvellous Ears.
Would you teach me how to make an elephant?
The BFG asked. What do you mean? Sophie said.
I would dearly love to have an elephant to ride on.
The BFG said dreamily.
I would so much love to have a jumbly big elephant and go riding through green forests picking peachy fruits off the tree all day long. This is sizzling hot muck-frumping country we is living in. Nothing grows in it except snowscumbers. I would love to go somewhere else and pick peachy fruits in the early morning from the back of an elephant.
Sophie was quite moved by this curious statement. Perhaps one day we will get you an elephant, she said, and peachy fruits as well. Now tell me what you were doing in our village.
If you is really wanting to know what I am doing in your village,
the BFG said,
I is blowing a dream into the bedroom of those children.
Blowing a dream? Sophie said. What do you mean?
I is a dream-blowing giant.
The BFG said.
When all the other giants is galloping off every what way and which to swallow up human beings, I is scuttling away to other places to blow dreams into the bedrooms of sleeping children. Nice dreams, lovely golden dreams, dreams that is giving the dreamers a happy time.
Now, hang on a minute, Sophie said. Where do you get these dreams?
I collect them,
the BFG said, waving an arm towards all the rows and rows of bottles on the shelves.
I has billions of them.
You can't collect a dream, Sophie said. A dream isn't something you can catch hold of.
You is never going to understand about it,
the BFG said.
That is why I is not wishing to tell you.
Oh, please tell me, Sophie said. I will understand. Go on. Tell me how you collect dreams. Tell me everything. The BFG settled himself comfortably in his chair and crossed his legs.
Dreams,
he said,
is very mysterious things. They is floating around in the air like little wispy misty bubbles, and all the time they is searching for sleeping people.
Can you see them? Sophie asked.
Never at first.
Then how do you catch them if you can't see them? Sophie asked.
Aha!
said the BFG.
Now we is getting on the dark and dusky secrets.
I won't tell a soul.
I is trusting you,
the BFG said. He closed his eyes and sat quite still for a moment while Sophie waited.
A dream,
he said,
as it goes whiffling through the night air, is making a tiny little buzzing, humming noise. But this little buzzy hum is so silvery soft, it is impossible for a human being to be hearing it.
Can you hear it? Sophie asked. The BFG pointed up at his enormous chuck wheel ears, which he now began to move in and out. He performed this exercise proudly, with a little proud smile on his face.
Is you seeing these?
He asked. How could I miss them? Sophie said.
They maybe is looking a bit preposterous to you,
The BFG said.
but you must believe me when I say there is very extra usual years indeed. There is not to be caught at.
I'm quite sure they're not, Sophie said.
They is allowing me to hear absolutely every single twiddly little thing.
You mean you can hear things I can't hear? Sophie said.
You is deaf as dumpling compared with me.
Cried the BFG.
You is hearing only thumping loud noises with those little earwigs of yours. But I am hearing all the secret whisperings of the world.
Such as what? Sophie asked.
In your country,
He said.
I is hearing the footsteps of a ladybird as she goes walking across a leaf.
Honestly, Sophie said, beginning to be impressed. What's more?
I is hearing those footsteps very loud.
The BFG said.
When a ladybird is walking across a leaf, I is hearing her feet going clumpty-clumpty-clump like giants' footsteps.
Good gracious me, Sophie said. What else can you hear?
I is hearing the little ants chittering to each other as they scuttle around in the soil.
You mean you can hear ants talking?
Every single word.
The BFG said.
Although I is not exactly understanding their language,
Go on, Sophie said.
sometimes on a very clear night,
The BFG said.
and if I is swiggling my ears in the right direction.
And here he swiveled his great ears upwards so they were facing the ceiling.
If I is swiggling them like this and the night is very clear, I is sometimes hearing far away music coming from the stars in the sky.
A queer little shiver passed through Sophie's body. She sat very quiet, waiting for more.
My ear is what told me you was watching me out of your window last night.
The BFG said. But I didn't make a sound, Sophie said.
I was hearing your heart beating across the road,
The BFG said.
loud as drum.
Go on, Sophie said. Please.
I can hear plants and trees.
Do they talk? Sophie asked.
They is not exactly talking,
The BFG said.
but they is making noises. For instance, if I come along and I is picking a lovely flower, if I is twisting the stem of the flower till it breaks, then the plant is screaming. I can hear it screaming and screaming very clear.
You don't mean it, Sophie cried. How awful.
It is screaming just like you would be screaming if someone was twisting your arm right off.
Is that really true? Sophie asked.
You think I is Swiss figgling you?
It is rather hard to believe.
Then I is stopping right here.
said the BFG sharply.
I is not wishing to be called a fipster.
Oh no! I'm not calling you anything, Sophie cried. I believe you. I do really. Please go on. The BFG gave her a long, hard stare. Sophie looked right back at him, her face open to his. I believe you, she said softly. She had offended him. She could see that.
I wouldn't ever be fibbling to you,
He said. I know you wouldn't, Sophie said. But you must understand that it isn't easy to believe such amazing things straight away.
I understand that.
The BFG said. So do please forgive me and go on, she said. He waited a while longer and then he said,
It is the same with trees as it is with flowers. If I is chopping an axe into the trunk of a big tree, I is hearing a terrible sound coming from inside the heart of the tree.
What sort of sound? Sophie asked.
A soft moaning sound.
The BFG said.
It is like the sound an old man is making when he is dying slowly.
He paused. The cave was very silent.
Tree is living and growing just like you and me.
He said.
They is alive, so is plants.
He was sitting very straight in his chair now. His hands clasped tightly together in front of him. His face was bright, his eyes round and bright as two stars.
Such wonderful and terrible sound I is hearing,
he said.
Some of them you would never wish to be hearing yourself, but some is like glorious music.
He seemed almost to be transfigured by the excitement of his thoughts. His face was beautiful in its blaze of emotions. Tell me some more about them, Sophie said quietly.
You just ought to be hearing the little mices talking,
he said.
Little mices is always talking to each other and I is hearing them as loud as my own voice.
What do they say? Sophie asked.
Only the mices know that.
He said.
Spiders is also talking a great deal. You might not be thinking it, but spiders is the most tremendous natterboxes. And when they is spinning their webs, they is singing all the time. They is singing sweeter than a nightingale.
Who else do you hear? Sophie asked.
One of the biggest chatbags is the caterpillars.
The BFG said. What do they say?
They is arguing all the time about who is going to be the prettiest butterfly. That is all they is ever talking about.
Is there a dream floating around in here now? Sophie asked. The BFG moved his great ears this way and that, listening intently. He shook his head.
There is no dream in here,
he said,
except in the bottles. I has a special place to go for catching dreams. They is not often coming to Giant's country.
How do you catch them?
The same way you is catching butterflies.
the BFG answered. With a net, he stood up and crossed over to a corner of the cave where a pole was leaning against the wall. The pole was about 30 feet long and there was a net on the end of it.
Here is the dream catcher,
He said, grasping the pole in one hand.
Every morning I is going out and snitching new dreams to put in my bottles.
Suddenly, he seemed to lose interest in the conversation.
I is getting hungry.
He said,
It is time for eats.
Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoy the story time with me. Keep listening. Bye bye.